I'm Steve Dangle, and you're listening to Stick to the Pod.
And hello and welcome back to another episode of Stick to the Pod. It's episode 6 of season 2. And yep, we've just had a mad weekend of NIHL North action. And to get the madness started, we're going to head straight into it in North 2, the Laidley Division, and where it all started on Saturday, and that was at the Hull Ice Arena for Kingston Sharks versus the Billingham Buccaneers. And what a game it was to start the weekend. It didn't go to plan for the Billingham Buccaneers, and it certainly didn't go to plan for the Kingston Sharks. The Billingham Buccaneers ride out 7-6 winners in regulation, and here's how it unfolded. 30 seconds, just 30 seconds into the game, Chris Hogarth puts the Kingston Sharks 1-0 up 29 seconds in. And it's the Kingston Sharks who keep the foot on the throat of the Billingham Buccaneers as they head through the first period, taking a 3-goal lead into the second period, with Scott Howells and Kane Taylor also getting on the score sheet in the first period. Into the second period, and just 1 minute and 14 seconds into that second period, it's Tom Humphreys who put the Kingston Sharks 4-0 up. The Kingston Sharks, just after 21 minutes and 14 seconds, lead the Billingham Buccaneers 4-0. So then you would think, that's it. Game over. Kingston are going to have a bit of a shock and take the points. Well, no, that's not how it pans out. The evergreen Stephen Wallace is back playing in Billingham. He's had 10 years away from the game. He's helping out the Buccaneers, and what a player he still is. He takes the first 2 goals for the Buccaneers on the 32nd minute and then the 37th minute, making it 4-2. It's then Buccaneers captain Carl Black who then makes it 4-3. Not just a few seconds later, Kane Taylor for the Kingston Jets makes it 5-3, and then it's James McCabe making it 5-4 for the Buccaneers. At the start of the third period, it's Adam Jaseko makes it 6-4, and then in a crazy spout of around a minute, Stephen Wallace adds 2 goals, and Callum Clark adds the game-winning goal at 57-40. So from 4-0 down, the Billingham Buccaneers take the game 7-6. Probably not planned how the Buccaneers expected it to go, but then 4-0 up, the Kingston Sharks probably expected to have this one in the bag. So that got Saturday underway in NIHL North 2. Other fixtures from that day was the D-side Ducks hosting the Bradford Bulldogs, and that was a 4-3 victory for the Bradford Bulldogs. Goal scorers of Andrew, I can't even say that name, so I shouldn't even try and pronounce it, but I will. Andrew Kianiek, Mardle scoring 2, and Brownlee for the Bulldogs, and it's Spear, Jones and Spridgen for the Ducks. Also on the Saturday, we had the Sutton Sting and the Nottingham Lions, and it's a 7-2 victory for the Sutton Sting, who are looking formidable this year. I think they're feeling though, as they left a lot in last season, coming second in the league and losing out to the playoff final to the Buccaneers, but they have started this season on fire, beating Lions to 7-2, outshooting them 51-16. And it's also 7 different goal scorers for the Sutton Sting: Apsley, Akers, Marples, Trustwell, Meadows, Humphreys and Brooks Smith, all on the goal sheet for Sutton Sting. And for Nottingham 2, it's Bon and Clark. Sticking with NIHL 2, we'll move into the Sunday. And on the Sunday, it is just the one game. It's the Sheffield Titans and the Nottingham Lions. That Sheffield-Nottingham derby, I think, is pretty much at quite a few different levels. Is it at all levels? No, it's not at National League, but Elite League, Division 1 and Division 2. So it's still quite impressive. So for the Titans, it was Swaffield, Williams and Burrows on the score sheet. And for Lions 2, it's Dowds and Marsden, giving the Sheffield Titans a 3-2 victory, but being outshot 47-29. Shots is going to be something I'm going to talk about a little bit later. I'm going to run through them now and tell me your thoughts on what you think about these shots on goal. Kingston Sharks and Bullingham Buccaneers. The Buccaneers outshot the Sharks 49-30. The D-side Ducks, losing out to Bradford Bulldogs, outshot Bradford 36-24. As I mentioned just earlier, the Sutton Sting heavily outshooting Nottingham Lions 51-16. And the Titans being outshot 47-29 in their victory over Nottingham. So quickly going to run through North 2 Laidlers results before we move on to the fun games of the Morley and North 1. So on Saturday the 5th of October, it was the Kingston Sharks and the Bullingham Buccaneers, where it's the Bucks that take a 7-6 victory. The D-side Ducks hosted the Bradford Bulldogs, and it's the visitors who take the points 4-3. The ever impressive Sutton Sting take a 7-2 victory at home to Nottingham Lions. And on the Sunday, it's the Sheffield Titans taking the points 3-2 against rivals Nottingham Lions too. So what does that mean for the league tables in Division 2? Well, as we mentioned, it's the very impressive Sutton Sting who are currently top of the table. They've played 7, they've won 7, scored an impressive 42 goals and only conceded just the 6. In second place, it's Telford Tigers, who they will be battling for the league title this year. It's 4 wins from 4 for them, scoring 38 goals and conceding the 11. In third place, with a 3-1 record, is the Coventry Blaze. The Bullingham Buccaneers are 3-2 over their 5 games. Kingston Sharks are 2-1-2 for their 5 games. Altrincham Aces are 2-3 for their 5. Sheffield Titans, 6 games, 1 win, 1 overtime loss and 4 losses. The Bradford Bulldogs, 4 games played, 1 win and 3 losses. And it's the D-side Ducks, 5 games, 1 win and 4 losses. And Lions 2, 1-6 in their 7 games. Cup standings we'll have a quick little touch on because, believe it or not, the Sutton Sting have now qualified from their group. It's the Titans in second, the Buccaneers in third, the Lions in fourth, and the Kingston Sharks in fifth. That closes out Group A. And Group B is the Blaze atop, playing 3 games. It's the Telford Tigers in second, with only played 2 games. Bradford only playing the 3 games, and both Altrincham Aces and D-side Ducks both only playing the 2 games and without any points. So that is just about it for NIHL North 2. A little bit more in depth there for the games in North 2. Obviously, that information that's available to us now, we can see how madness some of these games are, given that when the players scored and the amount of shots and the penalty minutes, we can go into a little bit more detail. So we are going to move over into Division 1 because there's a lot more happening in Division 1 last weekend with 4 games on either day. So we will go straight to Saturday the 5th of October. It's the Sheffield Scimitars and the D-side Dragons. And just before this game was starting, the teams announced their lineups, and there he was, Mr. Croyle, back in a D-side Dragons uniform. No one's seen this one coming, got no wind of it myself, but I think it was probably more D-side admitting they got it wrong, going with the 2 young netminders and bringing back Matt Croyle, who will bring them a lot of experience and also gives them a chance to win every night. Obviously, with the firepower that they have, the best netminder going and available was a common sense move to bring him back. They're not strong defensively, they just conceded a lot of goals. So the signing wasn't going to be a major player in this game. The D-side Dragons taking the game 8-2. Out Jake Witkowski scoring 4 goals, as you would expect him to do most nights. Parry, Burgess, Kennedy and Parsons all on the score sheet for D-side. Sheffield scorers were Keeling and Dransfield, and they were also outshot 61-23. Also on the Saturday, it was the Leeds Knights and the Widnes Wild. Leeds Knights hosting the Wild after their first win away to the Wild the previous week. And it's the Wild who take the points again. Outshooting their visitors 47-24, they win the game 5-2, with Barlow scoring 2, Deneko, Pear and Dell all on the score sheet. Dell's name starting to appear week after week at the moment. He was one of the players that me and Graham spoke about to watch out for. And Thompson on the score sheet again for Widnes. and Taipei as well. So it was a 5-2 victory for the Leeds Knights, who outshot their opponents 47-24. Saturday's late game was the Nottingham Lions and the Blackburn Hawks. The Hawks, who were out for revenge after the home loss to the Lions just a couple of weeks ago. And it was a 4-0 win for the Blackburn Hawks, with Ben Keddy getting an impressive shutout. Keeping out someone like Adas Padalek is very impressive indeed. The Hawks scoring 2 goals in the first period and 2 goals in the third period from Luke White, Streetley, Sporthith and Crawley, but they were outshot by the Lions 37-34. The day's big game though was the league leading undefeated Hull Jets hosting the Billingham Stars, league defending champions. And this was a very impressive performance from the Billingham Stars. From the first puck drop, it was down to business, work hard, work for each other, do the dirty work, make the pretty players, because that's one thing with Billingham. They'll always make sure that they can play pretty hockey no matter the situation. They like to play the puck, they like to move the puck, they like to make fancy moves, they like to show their skills off, which they do most weeks. And they took the game to the Hull Jets, who looked a bit shell-shocked, especially after that first period, which the Stars led 3-1. Which Mikey Elder got the scoring off in an emphatic way with a beautiful backhand over Zach Brown's right shoulder going in the top corner. It was a beautiful finish, a beautiful goal from Billingham's captain. Just set the team up and set them on their way. Moving into the second period, and it was just more of the same. A lot of offensive zone coverage for the Billingham Stars. They had the Hull Jets camped out. I believe after the second period, the Hull Jets only had something like 9 shots after the second period. And you think the power that they have, Volkanovs, Edwards, Beach, Hager, Kent. So some real good scorers there who were kept very, very quiet all night long. So at this point, going into the third period, it's 5-1 to the Billingham Stars. And I think the talk around the fans was, if the Stars get the next goal, it'll be game over. If Hull Jets could get on the scoreboard and a second goal even, and then maybe a third, it could be a much closer game. But it just wasn't to be. The Stars running out in the end 7-3 victors, outshooting the Hull Jets in the end 38-24. And like I said at the top there, it's just a fantastic performance from the Billingham Stars. They now can suffocate you with three lines. Third on Saturday, it was Rollins, Gritans, James Moss and Lucas Dowdle playing as the third line, with James Moss, with Michael Elder, Chris Sykes and Conor McNulty on the first line, and Callum Wilkinson, Sean Galloway and Ian Brown on the second. And there's just scoring all over those 3 lines. So the Stars have managed to add somehow more scoring depth than they had last year. Then they're getting goals from defence from guys like James Helens and Tommy Spraggan, Joe Walls, who started the season amazing. So yeah, it was just a fantastic all-round team game from the Billingham Stars. And like I said, the Hull Jets did look a bit confused. They tried to do a bit of rough it up in the third, and that didn't quite work or go the way they wanted it to. It was hard to explain the whole performance. Talking about it in the car on the way home, to try and explain it. Was it just big game jitters for the Jets? They know that they were the form team. They're the home team. They were probably the favourites for that game, which is absurd to say after only just stepping up last year. But the start they had, the signings they've made, yes, they were probably favourites for that game, and they just got shut down with absolute ease, but incredible hard work from the Billingham Stars. So going over Saturday's fixtures again, I'll quickly run through Saturday. It's the Sheffield Scimitars and the Deeside Dragons. The Dragons taking 3 points, winning the game 8-2. The Hull Jets hosted the Billingham Stars and losing out 7-3 on home ice. The Knights continued their winning ways over Widnes Wild, beating them 5-2. And the Hawks get revenge on Nottingham Lions in Nottingham, beating them 4-0. So moving on into Sunday then, and we'll start at the top of the sheet, and it is the Deeside Dragons again playing the Sheffield Scimitars. This time it's the Dragons who are at home, and as you'd expect, taking the game with complete ease. Very easy weekend for the Dragons, and they show that with the scoreline, and they beat the Scimitars 9-1, outshooting the Skims as you'd expect, 50-16. Goal scorers for D-side: Shaw, Witkowski, as you'd expect, Broster, Jones, Burgess, Wainwright, Parry, Hayek getting 2, and Howells, and Pelling again on the score sheet for the Scimitars. So off to Nottingham again, and they had another home game, this time against the Hull Jets, who would have been feeling that loss from Billingham the night before. But then, looking at that score sheet, they got themselves, they stood up, they got themselves dusted off, they went back to work, and it was just business as usual. Hull Jets taking the game 9-4 at Nottingham. Goal scorers for Nottingham: Padalek, Kidd, Mather and Rushby. And for the Jets, it's your usual suspects. It's Beach, it's Fulkenods with a hat-trick, it's Reese Edwards with 2, Geber and Kent also with 2. Nottingham Lions somehow outshot shooting the Hull Jets 59-44 in that game. As I say, we were talking about the shot counter, and I think we do need someone to start teaching people how to count shots, because it's getting a bit silly now. Moving back up north, it's the Whitley Warriors hosting the Widnes Wild, and it's Birthday Boy who stands out. Phil Edgar scoring 5, Yarrow, Ross, Lucas and Harley also on the score sheet, giving the Whitley Warriors a 9-2 victory over the Widnes Wild, whose goal scorers was Gilbert, getting both their goals. The Warriors do outshoot the Wild 57-27. And then Saturday's final game, it's the second part of a massive weekend for the Billingham Stars. It could have very potentially been a no-point weekend for the Stars, or maybe a couple of overtime games and a bit of nerves. But as it was an absolute emphatic weekend, taking 6 points with ease against the Hull Jets and the Solihull Barons. Yep, the Billingham Stars hosted the Solihull Barons. Obviously, they probably would have marked this one off in the calendar after what happened in Solihull just a couple of weeks ago. Fortunately, better lighting, plenty of plexiglass, so much easier to see. Although granted, a smaller pad, only just. The Billingham Stars ran out 8-3 victors, outshooting the Barons 42-38. However, it was the Barons who raced into a 2-goal lead. Yes, you know what I'm going to say next. That line did it again. Otterson scoring both goals in the first period, both assisted by one each of Phil and Dan Mulcahy. The impressive White gets a goal in the third period, short-handed, assisted Nicholas Otterson. But it's the Stars' firepower that brings home the point, with Sykes scoring 3, which the first goal was a power play goal in the first period, and it was sensational placement from Sykes. He puts this puck in the smallest of corners, smallest of gaps that was left by Graham Laverick. I think even he turned around and was thinking, how has that gone in? But it was a great finish from Sykes to put the Stars back on the scoreboard. Game was electrifying with pace. It was backwards and was forwards, probably a little bit too open, probably far too open for the Barons, who, like I said, raced to a 2-goal lead, which I did mention on the Stars podcast, that I think the only way the Barons were going to win this game was jumping all over the Stars early, and probably putting the game to bed in the first period and then just defending as a unit. They got 2-0 up, and I think they thought that was it, game was done, but it wasn't to be. The Stars finally found their legs, obviously having the tough game the night before. They finally found their legs, and they just came at Solihull wave after wave, and the Barons just couldn't handle it, they couldn't cope with it. You could see that within the team as the game went on. I mention it every week, the amount of ice time that first line has is massive, and to be fair, if you're a genuine Barons fan, you've got to be a little bit concerned to how much that top line plays is on the ice. Due to how much and how often I mention this on the podcast most weeks, one of the Stars fans actually timed Nicholas Otterson's ice time in the second period, and it cropped out at 14 and a half minutes, and that was just the second period. Now, you won't be surprised to know that that line gassed towards the end of the second period. They had nothing to give. They were out. And it was mind-boggling to watch to why they were double shifting this line, playing them for as long as they were. You've got to have some trust in your third line, especially so early in the season. I mean, what have you got to lose at this stage of the season? You know the teams are going to drop points around you. You know you're going to drop points in some places. So why run that first line into the ground 5 or 6 games into the season? Barons have played 5 games, and that line was spent. This line is so good, it can fire you to a league title. It really can. They are so good. And Otterson on his day is unplayable. And they were knackered. They were finished. They were spent. They had nothing left with about 5-6 minutes left of the second period. And I think the scoreline only at 4-2 at that point, maybe going to 5-2 at some point in the second period as well. It's just absolutely madness to run that line into the ground. Those guys are game winners, but they've got to have something left in the tank. You've got a very good netminder in Graham Laverick. Your defence isn't great, but it's good. I mean, if he's got desperate, you can put Nick Otterson back there. You've got White, who's a fantastic D-man as well. Bailey Challens as well, who can play good D. He can be a good defenseman. But they need some help. And if you're going to run 3 lads into the ground so early into the game and so early in the season, you're looking for trouble. Anyway, back into the game. Like I say, the Barons do take the first period 2-1. Moving into the third period, and I don't know where to start. Again, good pace, good tempo to the game. About midway into the second period, the puck comes loose to Ben Greenhow, who lets this laser go top shelf. And I think it was that moment on that the Stars knew they were going to go on and win this game. You could tell in the celebration, you could tell in the crowd with the cheer. And then a few seconds later, Grittans gets a bit of space. He lasers one in the top corner. The bench is looking at Graham Laverack, trying to wave him in, saying, "Yep, you're done. Come off." The backup on the bench was getting his tightening his gloves, getting his helmet. Laverick doesn't ever look up or look at the bench and remains in net. And then another 20-30 seconds again later, straight from the face-off, the puck comes to Sykes, who pings it top corner. And that's it. It's 5-2, well, 4-2 in no time. And the place is bouncing. The energy that the Barons had even more energy sapped from them, even though it was running low anyway because the amount of ice time the top line was on. And all you had to do was come out in the third period, make sure you're defensively sound, make sure your job is, you do your job, you play as a unit, and you will see this game out comfortably. But that doesn't seem to be the Stars' way. They just kept going and going and going, and they got their rewards with more goals, scoring another 4 in the third, running out 8-3 victors in the end. Sykes, hat-trick, Greenhow, Grittans, Joe Dowdle, Helens and Brown all on the score sheet. And it was just fantastic to watch from the Billingham Stars. They look a unit, they look together, they come forward in waves. Like I say, they've got 3 lines that can score. They were missing Conor McNulty on Sunday night, so the lines were slightly muddled up. They did change a few things around, and it just, again, the defence was a unit again, so solid, knew their game plan, knew the way they needed to play, and if they got caught high up, they had a forward pulling back, covering. And like I say, the team was very much in sync last weekend, and from a Stars fan's point of view, it was fantastic to watch. Moving into the league, we'll have a quick little look at the cup tables actually. So in Group A, we do have the Whitley Warriors top of the tree without a loss. No, we won't. What we'll do is I'll quickly run through Sunday's fixtures and scores because I have rabbled on quite a bit. So on Sunday, it was the Deeside Dragons hosting the Scimitars, who take the game 9-1. The Whitley Warriors and the Widnes Wild also had that game was 9-2, and the Hull Jets also scoring 9, beating the Nottingham Lions 9-4. And it's the Billingham Stars who let the side down with the 9s and only take the game 8-3 versus the Barons. So into the cup situation, can't really make nothing of it at the moment. Not a lot of games have been played. And like I say, Blackburn have only played 2 in their cup run. Billingham Stars have only played 2, as well as the Deeside Dragons and their cup run. So not a lot of information we can take from these at the moment, but I will give you a bit of a running order. Group A currently stands at the Warriors first, Stars second, Nottingham Lions third, Deeside Dragons fourth, and the Sheffield Senators fifth. Down in Group B, it's the Hull Jets top, it's the Blackburn Hawks second, it's Leeds Knights third, Solihull Barons fourth, and the Widnes Wild fifth. As I do believe it's winner of Group A will play runner-up of Group B, and obviously winner of Group B will play runner-up of Group A. On to the league standings then, and it's still the Hull Jets top of the tree with a 6-1-1 record, or I should say 6-1-0-1 record. For those that don't really understand that, what it means, it's 6 wins, 1 overtime win, no overtime losses, and 1 loss. The reason why it's done like that is obviously because in overtime now, your overtime win is only worth the 2 points, whereas a regulation win is worth 3. And obviously, if you lose in overtime, you still pick up the point. Just the one game so far as well in NIHL North, 1 going to overtime. Anyway, back to the league. It's the Hull Jets. Play date 6-1-0-1, scoring 43 goals for their 20 points. The Billingham Stars are 6-0-0-1. with 46 goals scored for their 18 points. It's the Whitley Warriors in third, who are, for their 5 games, 1-4 and 1 overtime loss for their 28 goals scored and 13 points. Blackburn Hawks in fourth, who are just 4-2, 4 wins and the 2 losses, 30 goals scored and 12 points on the board. The Deeside Dragons, who are now flying with goals, and obviously will only increase that now Jake Witkowski is up and running. They are 5th with the same record as the Blackburn Hawks, also scoring 30 goals. Conceded 27 though for their 12 points. Nottingham Lions in 6th. For their 7 games, it's 3 wins and 4 losses, 23 goals scored and 9 points. Solihull Barons, 5 games played, just the 2 wins and 3 losses already, with 19 goals scored and 6 points on the board. Leeds Knights, 6 games played, 2 wins and 4 losses, 17 goals scored and 6 points. And it's the Widnes Wild, who've played 6, and the Sheffield Senators, who've played 8. Both sit at the bottom with 0 points. So what have we got to look forward to this weekend then? Well, we'll look at North 2's fixtures first. And on Saturday the 12th of October, it's the Billingham Buccaneers who host the Kingston Sharks. Just the one game on Saturday, and we move on to Sunday, where the Altrincham Aces host Telford Tigers. The Billingham Buccaneers host Nottingham Lions. The Deeside Ducks host Coventry Blaze. And the Sheffield Titans host the Sutton Sting. So 5 games in NIHL North 2 this weekend. And in North 1, Saturday the 12th of October in North 1, it's the Hull Jets versus the Sheffield Senators. Also on Saturday is a late face-off in Solihull. Yes, it's the Barons playing a Saturday home game. And what a game it'll be. It'll be the Solihull Barons versus the Whitley Warriors. Sunday's ding-dong of a tie is at Deeside, where the Dragons host the Blackburn Hawks. The Dragons, Jake Witkowski versus Leeds Knights, Adam Barnes. That'll be very, very interesting indeed. And the last game of the weekend is the Widnes Wild hosting the Solihull Barons. So some cracking games to look out for this weekend. I think the Nottingham Lions hosting the Leeds Knights as well on Sunday. Sorry about that. That'll be a cracking game, I believe. We'll see how far the Leeds Knights have come. Yes, it's only the Nottingham Lions, but the Nottingham Lions aren't only the Nottingham Lions anymore. They're a much better side. They are now, obviously, on a bit of a losing streak. Played some tough teams in Blackburn and Hull last weekend. But like I say, they've got Padalecki in that side, who is good enough to play in any team in our division. So that Leeds Knights travelling to Nottingham Lions will be a very, very interesting game on Sunday. The 2 games to watch this weekend though, on Saturday the Solihull Barons and the Whitley Warriors, and then Sunday the Dragons versus the Hawks. So that just about covers NIHL North for last weekend and the week coming. There hasn't been too much news. Like I say, we covered Matt Croyle leaving the Skims and going back to D-side Dragons, or Crofts, who left Solihull Barons last weekend, turned up at the Sheffield Scimitars. He's gone there for his ice time, and young Bartholomew, also from the Solihull Barons, has gone back to Tigers 2. I believe he cited he wasn't ready to step up to Division 1, which fair play to him. If he doesn't believe he's ready, that is the case. Do watch this space though. There is still one or two rumours hanging around there of one or two players who may rock up at new clubs. And again, none of the news has gone quiet. It's just a matter of time, more of a when than if. So we shall see. Enjoy your weekend this weekend. There is no docs for me to cover this week. Again, nothing major has happened. There's no major incidents happening. I suppose next week, I'll tell you all now that the episode will be getting recorded on Monday, to either be out Monday night or Tuesday. That's because I go to Berlin next Thursday to watch Ice Bar in Berlin versus Adler Mannheim, go and see how Liam Kirk's doing. But moving forward, I am going to look to get these done on a Monday and out for Tuesday, possibly Wednesday. Monday seems to be my freest night going forward. So that just about covers it for this week. Like I say, it was a fantastic weekend of hockey. Bonkers game in NIHL 2 with the Buccaneers and the Kingston Sharks, and defending champions Billingham Stars laying down a marker saying, you know what, we want to keep our title, and if you want it, you better come and take it. Which I'm sure one or two teams will certainly be up for that challenge. So as usual, please like and share it with your friends, tell your friends about it. Like and share on Twitter, Facebook, on Spotify. If you listen on Spotify and Apple, give it a 5-star rating. I'd be so honoured. If you listen on YouTube, please subscribe and also like on that platform. It all helps get the podcast out there and get people listening, and we'll get people talking hockey, and we'll get people talking about NIHL North 1 and 2, which is both fantastic hockey leagues in the UK. Also, if you want to drop me an email, my email address is there as well. It is sticktothepod@gmail.com. So that's all from me this week. Bye for now, and enjoy your hockey.